Hello everybody and welcome back to The Hunter Call of the Wild. Today we are going to be all over the place because I'm going to be sharing with you my top 5 biggest tips for beginners to help you start out in the game. Now there are a lot of things you can do to help yourself in this game, but most of it you'll learn as you go. These 5 things are just the things that I think make the biggest difference right off the bat that you need to know and need to put into practice in order to learn even faster in the game. These 5 tips are in no particular order, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. My first tip, and this is perfect timing, is going to be to slow down. A lot of times you run to the lakes and you run to your drink zones and you find stuff, and that's great, but you'll find that you spook things much easier. As you can see, I am scaring a bunch of critters right now. All these bison are freaking out. And you're going to want to slow down for that reason to start. Usually, if you stop running about 200 meters away from, 200 meters away from any lake you're running to, you will be in good shape. So let's say we're going to run to this lake here and check it for whatever. I'll put my waypoint right on the edge of it, so I am aware, and then you can run to it. As you can see, we're 600 meters away. When I get to 200 meters, I will start walking, and I'll walk the rest of the distance, and that way I can not spook anything that's too close to me. You know, if you run too much within 200 meters, you might spook everything off the lake before you can even get to it. It wasn't as much of a big deal before this last update, but now it is definitely important. As you can see, there's a albino, I believe, plains bison over there, and we're going to go ahead and shoot that. I'm getting yelled at still. That also applies to your shooting. I know that for myself anyway, when I'm in a rush, if I'm moving fast and I'm panicking, I will tend to make mistakes and not shoot things as well, not take my time, and try to get a shot in, and I'll end up doing more harm than good. It looks like we did get that in there, so she's going to go down. What you got to remember is that if it's on single player, these animals are on your map, and they are going to be here until any population reset were to happen. So if you don't get the shot when you would like to, or you don't get it right away, or the animal starts running away, don't panic. You can always reset the time and come back and take another crack at it. Take your time, get into whatever range you need to, crouch, crawl, whatever you got to do, and get a shot that you're comfortable with to take down the trophy animal that you're looking at. Here is our albino bison. Looks like I got a good shot into her. She's going to be it's a left lung hit, a silver. Actually, that's kind of nice. It's a silver. And we're going to tax it because I like to have stuff in the lodge, so why not? And these look pretty cool. And we'll go to the lodge at the end of the video. But that's it for the first tip. We are going to move on now to tip number 2. Our next tip is going to be do not use an ATV. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean never use an ATV, but as you can hear how loud it is, you're going to spook everything. You're going to scare every animal away, farther away than you can really get a sight on them first, and it's just not worth it. And more so what I'm referring to, if you need to use an ATV to get around once in a while, fair enough, but I'm going to get off this thing because I can't even hear myself. I'm referring more to when you get a new map and you're looking for outposts and you'd like to make sure I'm not missing anything, and you'd like to unlock your outposts. I know the temptation is there to hop on an ATV and just quickly zip through them, pick up all the outposts, and that's fine if you want to do that, but understand that you are going to miss a lot of opportunities along the way. There's a lot of animals that you're going to see while you're running from outpost to outpost. If you just run from each outpost and try to unlock them that way, you will encounter likely diamonds, or rares, whatever trophies, or just animals in general while you're just running around. And with the ATV, you really won't. You'll get your outpost faster, but you'll miss out on a lot of the things you might have seen otherwise. So I highly recommend to just refrain from using the ATV whenever possible. You know, if you have to use it to get to a lake, a drink zone before the time runs out, or something like that, fair enough. But refrain if possible, because it's going to benefit you more in the long run. Going to try to hit one of these geese on the fly. Oh, wow, okay. I'm going to just nail it on the first hit. Well, that's not common for me. But anyway, there we got ourselves a light gray, level 3. What is this? A tundra bean goose. That's it for rule number 2. Now let's move on to rule number 3. And my next tip for beginners playing this game is to shoot everything. Mainly I'm talking about males of whatever species, but you're going to want to shoot them because they could be respawns. They will just get you lots of money. Whatever it is, I know a lot of people say, oh, how do you make so much money? Or some people will say, how do you have so many diamonds? And part of that is just shooting a lot of animals. The more animals you shoot, the more chance they spawn as a diamond or a rare, and the more money you accumulate over time. Females you'll get money for too, and actually when you're starting out, I would recommend even shooting females. But the only thing to remember is try not to shoot more than 3 animals in one area. And you can see the hunting pressure here. If more than 3 animals worth of hunting pressure, this is 1 animal's worth, overlap, it'll delete the zone. Now the zones will come back eventually, but it just kind of becomes a headache and you start to nuke your spots, and I wouldn't recommend it. So run around, shoot whatever you see, and try to refrain from shooting more than 3 animals in one spot. That's it for tip number 3. We're going to pick up this moose and move on to tip number 4. And the next tip for beginners is to save up your money and buy the 7mm, whichever one you'd like, as soon as you possibly can. It's $36,000 in game, and if you're shooting everything, like I said in the last rule, you'll get that money fairly quick. And this gun is really nice, and it's fully ethical for most species in the game. You can see its class is 4 to 9, which means you can shoot anything down to class 4, all the way up to like plains bison and water buffalo, the biggest in the game. But you can get the 7mm without any DLCs, and that's why I recommend it for beginners. And it's not that expensive, only, like I said, only $36,000. So save that up, get that 7mm, and you'll be shooting things. And then if you encounter diamonds of bigger animals, you'll be able to take them down and not risk losing the medal. As we come back to the spot to pick up that level 5 Mouflon that we left behind in the level 1 video, my final tip is to hunt around water. It's probably one of the most important tips of the list. If you hunt around water, no matter what the drink time or the time is, there's usually something drinking on most maps. And if there's something specific you want to hunt, you can change the time. But anything you want to hunt can pretty much be found around the water, short of maybe a few things where you might find them in feed zones or rest zones better, say alligators, or some things that don't drink at all. But most of the time, you can find anything you want to hunt right around the water, and it'll help with, when pairing it with all the other rules I gave, it'll definitely help with gaining money quicker. Now I'm just going to move over to the left and get a shot on this guy, and hopefully we'll get him down, we can go pick him up, and see if he's a diamond. I think we're far enough over now. Make sure I know the range, because the last time we know what happened here. We're going to zero properly. But we're going to find out, unless I didn't hit that right. 173, I'm just going to zero normal for at 150. We'll wait till he puts his head up. Maybe he'll look to the side and give us a better angle, because that horn might be in the way. And that'll get him down. That's a level 5 Mouflon. Now let's run over across the bridge here, go take a look at him, and see if we have ourselves a diamond. Alright, he's laying right here. He didn't float across when he went out of render or anything like that. Let's see if it's a diamond. It is a diamond, a 183.37. That's, I think, right on close to the other one I had. But we got a right lung and liver shot in there. We got him down. Level 5 diamond Mouflon. So that'll be the end of the top tips, or my top tips for beginners. But we're gonna head back to the trophy lodge and put up that bison and this Mouflon. So we'll see you there. Alright, we're back in our trophy lodge, and I put our albino female plains bison right across from the albino female water buffalo. At least for the time being, there's 3 albinos in this hallway. That's a male right there. But these females will stay here for the time being, unless we need to make room. Then we might have to start a second lodge. But the Mouflon, I decided to put right over here next to the other one, where I would have put that one that I did not hit good. But I'm glad we have another Mouflon in the lodge. They're one of my more favorite animals in the game, I think. I kind of like them. I like sheep, and I'm glad we got one today. Let's see what the score comparison is. 183.6 and 183.3, so they're very close in score. I hope you enjoyed my 5 tips for beginners starting out in the Hunter Call of the Wild. And if you did, check out the first video I ever recorded in the Hunter Call of the Wild.